Imagine, if you will, that wealth already flows through every fiber of your being, not as some distant dream or future possibility, but as your present reality here now in this very moment. For what you seek, dear friend, has always been seeking you. The great mistake so many make in their quest for abundance is believing that wealth is something to be pursued, to be hunted down like some elusive prey. This is precisely backward. Wealth, true, lasting, abundant wealth, is not created through external scrambling, but through internal embodiment. Listen carefully now, for I am about to share with you the most profound secret of manifestation. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state of consciousness. What you hold to be true within will invariably express itself without. This is law. This is the principle upon which all creation rests. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the weight of your body against the chair or floor where you sit. Now, with the same certainty that you know you are sitting here, I want you to feel the absolute certainty of your wealth, not the wealth you hope to acquire someday, but the wealth that is already yours in the invisible realm of cause. How does a wealthy person sit? Notice how your posture shifts as you embody this state. The spine straightens naturally. The shoulders relax and fall back with quiet confidence. There is no tension, no anxiety about lack. There is only the calm assurance that all needs are met with abundance to spare. How does a wealthy person speak? Listen to the tone of your inner voice now. Is it not clearer, more measured, more assured? The wealthy do not rush their words. They do not plead or apologize for their existence. Their speech carries the natural authority of one who knows their value in this world. How does a wealthy person move through the world? With the quiet dignity of one who needs prove nothing to anyone, with the unhurried pace of one who knows that all they desire is already theirs in spiritual substance, merely waiting to be expressed in physical form. This is not make-believe, dear friend. This is not childish pretending or wishful thinking. This is the conscious use of the one true creative power you possess, your wonderful human imagination. When you truly understand that imagination creates reality, you will stop trying to change the world around you and instead change the concept you hold of yourself. For the world treats you precisely as you expect to be treated. It gives you exactly what you believe yourself worthy of receiving. Most people have this entirely backward. They say, "When I have money, then I'll feel wealthy." And so they wait forever, for they have positioned wealth as the cause rather than the effect. The truth is exactly opposite. When you feel wealthy, truly embody that state of consciousness, then the money must follow. It has no choice but to conform to your dominant mental state. Your imagination is the very gateway through which the invisible becomes visible, through which the spiritual becomes material, through which thought becomes thing. Let me ask you now, if you were already in possession of the wealth you desire, how would you feel this very moment? Would you not feel a profound sense of security? Would there not be an ease about your dealings? Would you not walk and talk and breathe as one who is free from financial concern? This feeling, this state of consciousness, is what you must capture and maintain. Not tomorrow when conditions improve. Not next year when your ship comes in. But right now, in this eternal moment of creation. The outer symbols of wealth, the money, the possessions, the experiences, are merely expressions of an inner state. To focus exclusively on these expressions while ignoring the causative state is to perpetuate want indefinitely. Consider the wisdom of the ages. To him who has, more shall be given. This refers not to physical possessions, but to consciousness. To him who has the consciousness of wealth and abundance, these very qualities will be added in their physical form. I invite you to try this simple exercise. Throughout your day, notice how you stand, how you sit, how you speak when you are thinking thoughts of limitation. Then consciously shift your body and voice to reflect the assurance of abundance. Feel how different these states are in your very cells. When you walk, walk as though the earth itself were supporting your every step with abundant resources. When you speak, speak with the quiet certainty of one whose needs are always met with grace and ease. When you breathe, breathe in the awareness that the same infinite supply that sustains the cosmos sustains you. The human imagination is not a power separate from you. It is the very core of your being. And when you consciously assume the feeling of wealth as your natural state, you activate the creative principle that shapes your reality. Understand this clearly. The world can give you only what you are first willing to give yourself in consciousness. If your dominant feeling is one of struggle and scarcity, then struggle and scarcity will be your experience. But if your dominant feeling is one of abundance and ease, then abundance and ease must follow. This is not positive thinking or affirmation. This is far more fundamental. This is about occupying a new state of being altogether, one in which wealth is not something you pursue but something you express from within. The great secret of manifestation is simple yet profound. Feeling precedes fact. The feeling of wealth, when firmly established within, will inevitably express itself without. This is law. This is principle. This cannot fail. So I ask you now, can you dare to feel wealthy before a single external condition has changed? Can you walk through your day embodying the consciousness of abundance regardless of current appearances? For this is what is required if you truly wish to transform your financial reality. Let us be clear, this is not about pretending. This is about becoming. This is about stepping into a new concept of self with such conviction that the outer world has no choice but to reorganize itself around this new center of consciousness. For your outer world will always conform to your inner assumptions. What you claim in consciousness, you must ultimately claim in experience. This is the promise and the challenge of conscious creation. Now that we understand the principle, let us discuss its practical application in your daily life. For principle without practice is merely philosophy, and we seek transformation, not mere intellectual understanding. First, let us address the matter of your language. Words are not neutral. They are charged with the full power of the consciousness that speaks them. When you say, "I can't afford it," you are declaring a state of limitation as your reality. From this moment forward, catch yourself in these moments and consciously choose a different language pattern. Instead of "I can't afford it," try "I'm choosing to direct my resources elsewhere right now." Instead of "I never have enough," try "I am in the process of expanding my financial channels." The shift may seem subtle, but the consciousness behind these statements is worlds apart. Pay particular attention to the small, seemingly insignificant statements you make throughout your day. Money is tight. I'll never get out of debt. Wealth is for other people. These casual remarks are not innocent. They are powerful declarations that shape your reality. Speak always from the consciousness of having, never from the consciousness of want. Next, let us consider your physical bearing, the way you carry yourself through the world. Body and mind are not separate entities, but aspects of a unified system of expression. Your physical posture both reflects and reinforces your internal state. Try this simple exercise. Stand before a mirror and observe your natural stance when thinking thoughts of financial limitation. Notice the subtle slump of the shoulders, the tightness around the eyes, the downward gaze. Now consciously shift to embody the physical presence of one who is abundantly supplied. Feel the shoulders relax and move slightly back, the chest open, the gaze direct and calm. Practice this shifted physical state until it becomes your default way of being in the world. Walk, sit, and stand as though you are already in possession of great wealth. This is not superficial posturing. It is the deliberate alignment of your physical vehicle with your desired state of consciousness. Your voice, too, carries the imprint of your dominant state. The wealthy speak with measured certainty, without rush or desperation. They pause between thoughts. They allow silence. They do not fill the air with nervous chatter or apologetic tone. Practice speaking in this manner, not just when discussing money, but in all your interactions. Let your voice carry the quiet authority of one who knows their value and place in the world. This single adjustment can dramatically shift how others respond to you and, more importantly, how you experience yourself. Now let us address your immediate environment. While true wealth is an internal state, your surroundings can either support or undermine your consciousness. Regardless of your current financial situation, create at least one space in your home that feels abundant to you.
This need not require money.
A single fresh flower in a clean glass, a beautifully arranged bookshelf, a cleared table with one quality item displayed. These simple adjustments can shift how you feel in your space. Remove items that remind you of struggle or scarcity. Display items that evoke feelings of abundance and beauty. When you enter this space, Consciously feel its quality of abundance. Let it remind you of the state you are claiming as your own. Over time, expand this feeling to encompass more of your environment until your entire living space feels like a natural extension of your wealth consciousness. Your daily habits either reinforce or undermine your dominant state. Establish at least one daily practice that allows you to fully immerse yourself in the feeling of wealth. This is perhaps the most important practical application I can offer you. Find 10 minutes each day to sit quietly and feel yourself into the state of having already achieved your financial desires. Close your eyes, relax your body, then mentally step into a scene that implies your wealth is already a fact. Perhaps you are sitting at a desk, calmly reviewing your abundant financial statements. Perhaps you are writing a generous check to a cause you believe in. Perhaps you are simply feeling the deep sense of security that comes with financial abundance. The specific scene matters less than the feeling it evokes. Your aim is to catch the feeling of wealth so completely that for those few minutes at least, it feels more real to you than your current circumstances. This is not daydreaming or fantasy. This is the conscious use of your imagination as the creative power it truly is. When you enter these sessions, do so with the solemn understanding that you are engaged in a sacred act of creation. As you go about your day, practice making decisions from your desired state rather than your apparent state. When facing a choice, ask yourself, how would I approach this if wealth were my reality? Then act accordingly to the extent current circumstances permit. If you find yourself in environments or situations that strongly reinforce feelings of lack, develop the practice of mentally stepping aside from these circumstances. Remind yourself, these are appearances only. My true financial state exists in consciousness, and I choose wealth consciousness now. In your interactions with others, practice genuine generosity within your means. The consciousness of wealth is expansive and giving. Find ways to express this quality, whether through financial means if possible, or through your time, attention and goodwill when money is limited. Remember that your goal is not to convince others of your wealth, but to convince yourself at the deepest level. External validation is unnecessary and often counterproductive. This work happens in the quiet sanctuary of your own consciousness. Practice gratitude not as a technique to get more, but as a natural expression of your wealth consciousness. The wealthy are deeply appreciative of their abundance. Begin to feel this same appreciation for what you already possess, however modest it may appear. When challenges arise, as they inevitably will, resist the temptation to revert to old patterns of thought and feeling. These moments are not evidence against your new state. They are opportunities to more firmly establish it through conscious choice. If you notice yourself slipping into feelings of lack or limitation, do not judge or condemn this response. Simply observe it with compassion, then gently but firmly return to your chosen state of wealth consciousness. Persistence in maintaining your desired state is crucial. Remember that the transition from one state of consciousness to another often includes a period of apparent contradiction, where outer circumstances have not yet caught up to inner changes. During this phase, redouble your commitment to living from the new state, regardless of appearances. We come now to the culmination of our exploration, the essential truth that brings all elements together. Wealth is not something you chase. It is someone you become. The fundamental error in most approaches to financial abundance is the positioning of wealth as an external goal to be achieved through struggle and strategy. This approach, no matter how sophisticated or widely accepted, places wealth forever outside yourself, forever in the future, forever dependent on conditions. The truth is both simpler and more profound. Wealth is an identity, a state of consciousness, a way of being in the world. When you step into this identity completely, the outer symbols of wealth manifest not through force, but through natural correspondence. Consider this. Everything in your current financial reality, every dollar in your account, every possession you own, every economic opportunity or challenge you face, is a perfect reflection of the concept you hold of yourself in relation to abundance. Not the concept you wish to hold or pretend to hold, but the concept that truly occupies your subconscious mind. This subconscious concept, this deep inner knowing, is not changed through wishful thinking or temporary enthusiasm. It is transformed through the consistent, disciplined assumption of your desired state until that state feels more natural, more real to you than any other. Your subconscious mind is the true creator of your life experience. It accepts as real whatever you impress upon it through feeling. Not through occasional feeling or conditional feeling, but through persistent, conviction-filled feeling that is maintained regardless of circumstances. When you impress upon your subconscious mind the feeling of wealth with sufficient intensity and duration, a remarkable process begins. The creative energies of your deeper mind go to work reorganizing your outer world to match this inner conviction. Opportunities previously invisible become suddenly apparent. Resources previously unavailable present themselves. Capabilities previously dormant awaken and express themselves through you. This is not mystical coincidence. It is the lawful operation of consciousness expressing itself through your life circumstances. The great mistake is to make your assumption of wealth contingent upon outer evidence, to say, in effect, I will believe it when I see it. The truth exactly reverses this. You will see it when you believe it at the level of absolute conviction. This conviction is not intellectual. It is not a thin veneer of positive thoughts laid over a foundation of doubt and fear. It is a bone-deep knowing, an unshakable certainty that transcends all apparent contradictions. How do you achieve such conviction? Through the daily, hourly practice of living from your desired state, through refusing to be defined by current limitations, through the disciplined use of your imagination to dwell in the feeling of your wish fulfilled until that feeling displaces all others. Some will call this self-deception. It is, in fact, self-revelation, the uncovering of your true infinite nature, temporarily obscured by limiting beliefs and assumptions that you have accepted as reality. The transformation we speak of does not deny current circumstances but transcends them through the higher truth of your creative power. You need not pretend poverty does not exist if that is your present experience. You need only recognize that this condition exists not as an absolute reality but as the effect of a previous state of consciousness that you are now in the process of changing. Let me speak now of patience and persistence. The shift from one state of consciousness to another is not always instantaneous in its visible effects. There may be a period, an interval of time between your inner assumption and its outer manifestation. During this interval, you may be tempted to abandon your new state, to conclude that the principle does not work, to revert to old patterns of thought and feeling. This is the critical moment where most fail, not realizing they have relinquished their desire at the very threshold of its fulfillment. The length of this interval is determined not by arbitrary fate, but by the intensity of your feeling and the completeness of your acceptance. The more absolutely you occupy your desired state, the more thoroughly you become the person who is naturally wealthy, the more rapidly your outer world reshapes itself to match this inner reality. Hold fast to your new identity regardless of appearances. When doubts arise, as they will, recognize them not as intuitive warnings, but as the natural resistance of old thought patterns fighting for survival. Acknowledge these doubts, then deliberately return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Remember always, circumstances do not determine your state of consciousness. Your state of consciousness determines your circumstances. To make your wealth dependent on conditions is to surrender your creative power and place yourself at the mercy of effects rather than operating from the level of cause. Your call to action is this: begin today, begin this very moment, to live from the identity of one who is naturally, effortlessly wealthy. Make this your constant practice, regardless of apparent opposition or contradiction. Let no circumstance, no matter how compelling, define you against your chosen state. When you wake each morning before engaging with the demands of the day, take a few moments to establish yourself firmly in the consciousness of wealth. Feel the absolute security, the quiet confidence, the natural generosity that accompanies true abundance. Then move through your day from this foundation. When you retire each night, review your day not with criticism for moments of lapsed consciousness, but with appreciation for every instance where you successfully maintained your new identity. Let these successes, however small, become the building blocks of your transformed concept of self. If you have practiced the presence of wealth with sincerity and persistence, if you have truly occupied this state in feeling regardless of appearances, you cannot, I repeat, cannot fail to experience its outer expression. This is not motivational rhetoric, but the statement of irrevocable law. The invitation before you now is not merely to attempt these principles as an interesting experiment. The invitation is to commit yourself wholly to this new understanding, to make it the foundation of your life, to test its validity not through occasional practice, but through devoted, consistent application. For in the final analysis, the choice is always yours. You can continue to live as a reflection of past assumptions, allowing circumstances to dictate your state of being, or you can assume the creative authority that is your birthright and consciously choose the state from which you will live. Choose wealth consciousness, not as a means to an end, but as your natural state of being. Choose it not because of what it will bring you, but because of who it allows you to become. Choose it with the quiet certainty that what you are claiming in consciousness must, by immutable law, express itself in your experience. The wealth you seek is not hidden in some distant future. It exists now as potential, awaiting only your conscious embodiment to become manifest. Step into this awareness with reverence for the creative power you wield, and watch as the entire universe conspires to express your newborn concept of self. For you are, in truth, the operant power in your own life. You are the consciousness through which all things become possible. When you truly know this, not as intellectual concept, but as lived reality, the transformation you seek is not merely possible, it is inevitable.